Hi, and welcome to this lesson on inverse functions. Here we're going to take a look at another example of how to solve for an inverse function. And if you haven't been introduced to this idea yet, you can check out our other videos because there is an introductory video where we talk about the basic idea behind finding an inverse function. But basically, this is all we need to know right here. Switch x and y, because that's what the inverse is. To find an inverse function, you're simply switching your x and your y values. And we're going to see that here when we do a calculation for this equation, but you can also do the same thing on a graph. To find an inverse function, you can switch your x and y coordinates, and we'll take a look at that in one of our later videos. For right now, we have this function f of x equals 4x minus 5 divided by 3. So to find our inverse function, first we're going to write this in terms of x and y instead of f of x. So we can replace our f of x with a y value. And then we follow this simple rule here, switch x and y. So we're going to switch the x and y value here. We're going to get x equals 4y minus 5 divided by 3. And now our goal is to isolate y. In order to isolate y, we multiply both sides by 3. We then add 5 to both sides. And our last step is to divide by 4 to get y by itself. So our inverse function, in this case, once we isolate y, we have y equals 3x plus 5 over 4. And to write it in the correct notation that you'll see in your textbooks, again, we want to make sure that we replace y back with our inverse function in terms of f of x, and you'll see a little -1 written to indicate that you're looking at the inverse of your original function. So for this problem, if f of x equals 4x minus 5 over 3, to find the inverse function, we write it in terms of y, switch the x and y's, then solve for y, doing algebra to isolate y, and finally rewriting this equation in terms of f of -1 of x, showing that we found our inverse of our original function, 4x minus 5 over 3, and we're left with 3x plus 5 over 4. For more questions, please feel free to leave a comment, or you can visit our website at www.sandersontestprep.com. The link is in the description below. Thanks.